When love becomes the drug. So
Mhm.
this is what we're talking about here is when you're actually becoming addicted. So signs that romantic addiction may be running the show. Exactly what you were just talking about. You know, if you're being love bombed, you feel anxious without romantic attention.
Yes.
Okay. We
Yes, because
want people, go ahead.
you link your self-worth to what they're saying, and you
Yeah.
don't realize you're doing that until they stop saying it.
Yep.
And then it's like, oh, what
Yeah.
they said maybe wasn't true. And what, it's just, and it's almost, I wouldn't say I fell into depression, but I was craving it like a drug.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was craving it. And if it wasn't him, I was like, I need to dump him or get somebody else to love bomb me because I feel unworthy and I feel like I'm nothing without it, which is so dumb because now I learned to love myself, and it's what other people say or think of me and how they love me. It's totally none of my business. That's how I feel about it.
So
It's
you
all
just,
about me.
yeah. And you, sorry, I didn't mean to stop you, but
No,
I have
no, go ahead. Go
something
ahead.
to say, and you hit the nail on the head. When somebody is like your self-worth changes based on the way
Mhm.
somebody is behaving, that is either, every situation's different, but either you have a problem with your self-esteem in general, or you're dating with somebody, you're messing with somebody who is bringing you up and bringing you down. Like you shouldn't, especially, I'm always going to come from the angle of people who are in recovery.
Yeah.
We don't want to get high like that.
Right.
We don't want to get too
Right.
high, but we don't want to get too low.
Yeah, right.
And you can just feel so down. All right, next one. Let's hear about chasing unavailable people.
Oh my God. Guilty and an expert. Like
Okay.
I would become friends with a guy and not have feelings. I thought maybe they're cute or whatever. And they would be kind of interested. I don't chase men, but I would just try to get their attention,
Yeah.
because, and the more unavailable and uninterested they were, the more I was interested and the more I was trying. Not anymore though. I'm done
That's so
with
funny.
that. It's like totally done. But I used to do that a lot. What is that about?
I don't know. And I had another person I used to talk to a lot, and the tap tap tap, she would call it, like tap tap
Oh,
tap for attention.
uh-huh.
Like
Yep.
let's just get his attention. Let's just get his attention.
It's like
Tap
an
tap tap.
addiction. Like,
Yeah,
how many
absolutely.
guys can I attract? It was
Right.
almost like hysterical seduction. Somebody told me about that. There's something called hysterical seduction, which whatever. That was in Argentina back in the day. And I was
That's
like, it
funny.
is kind of like crazy seduction. Like I was trying to seduce men who were not available, desperately trying to seduce
So
them.
that's a thing. That is a thing.
Yes, and also like convince them of my value, which you should not have to convince anybody of your value. First of all, you need to know that you have value and you need to know your value. And if somebody doesn't see your value, why would you want to be with them? That you have to
Right.
sell them like selling a used car?
Right.
What the
Right.
hell? No. Mm-mm. Not anymore, girl.
But you're just making such important points here, and I'm glad you're sharing all of this because, if anybody's listening and kind of had a pain in their stomach as they heard that, here's the truth. When you're chasing unavailable people, you are actually looking for rejection.
No. What? Say that again. Well, say that again. That is so what?
So when you are chasing unavailable people, which I have been guilty of, so I know that this is
Yeah.
true,
Yeah.
you're on some level, you're seeking rejection. Like you're going to reinforce that you're not lovable by going after people who simply can't love you.
I cannot. This
Are
is
we having a mind blown? I love it when I can like actually say something that's valuable.
no,
But
that was, and it makes complete sense because if you're at a point in your life where you don't appreciate yourself, you don't understand your value, your worth, and you don't love yourself,
yeah.
then you want to validate all those feelings,
Yep.
right?
And
What you,
anybody with daddy issues,
oh, hello.
has done this, has
Oh,
tried
yeah.
this.
Yeah, unavailable, emotionally unavailable dad and domineering mom. So that
Yeah.
was a formula
So,
for disaster for sure for romantic relationships.
yep. So here's another really big one. You
Yes.
mistake longing for love.
Yes.
So
Oh my
let's
God.
define this. Can you define this for us?
Okay.
Just meaning like longing is when you're like pining for somebody,
Okay.
right?
So let me tell you
Okay.
the practical things. I used to fall for men that were like thousands of miles away, right?
Yeah.
Um, because the longing, like, oh, and also not having to see them every day.
Well, that too.
I don't know why. And it was a pattern that I didn't realize. It was like, oh, he lives in like Arizona. And I'm in LA. Great. Okay. Maybe once a month I can see him or whatever. I miss him. Or, it's just like I would think about them. And that's not love. That's
No.
a disease. What kind
Yeah.
of disease is that?
Well, I used to call it the pining disease,
Uh-huh.
pining for people who
Yeah.
didn't, I definitely had my years and, more often before sobriety and then in
Right.
early sobriety. But I definitely got into a few of those situations and I would just I pine for somebody who was not as interested in me as I was in them. And it was just, and the irony is, I'm sure there were people who were that interested in you, and
Yeah.
same for me, yet
Yeah.
that wasn't interesting to me. What was
No.
interesting to me was forcing myself on somebody who was like, and
Yeah.
I
Kind
was like
of like,
sure I could
yeah.
convince
Yeah.
them
Yeah. Like,
how
yeah.
fabulous I was.
They're kind of like, I would do you, but I'm not that into
And I'm like,
you.
you will be my boyfriend 20 years ago.
Totally. Yes. Not anymore, though. Not anymore.
No,
I'm
no,
not
no, 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 no,
interested in
and
that
we're gonna
at
talk about
all.
what it's like now at the end, just so but, we want everyone to know, like, we've all been there, we've all been through this, this is part of the road to success in romance and
Yeah,
personal relationships, so
totally.
none of this is to make anybody feel bad. Okay, so another, sign that romantic addiction may start running the show is you can't really you feel empty when you're single. Um,
Relationship hopping, absolutely. Yeah. So
yeah,
you don't feel it's almost like and I think as women we've been programmed it's going away now, thank God, but we've been programmed that your value is tied to the man you're with.
yeah,
And so that's why when you're single, it's almost like, ooh, what's my value now?
yeah.
I need to have someone who's great to be able to, society for society to see me as valuable.
And society does it in so many ways.
Yes,
You don't get invited to dinner parties when you're not in a couple because you're
right.
the odd man out. Often, if you have a lot of married friends, they don't want their single girlfriend around. And there can be a lot of situations going to events. I remember at times in my life just having to do event after event and being like, if I go to another event alone, I'm gonna,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Um,
I love going places alone. You know what I did before, like after my cancer treatment? I'm vegan now, right? And so there's this vegan restaurant that I love called Cafe Gratitude.
Oh, the best.
The best. Even when I wasn't vegan, I used to go
Yeah,
there. It's such the food there is
so good.
amazing. And so I used to go there every Monday because it was cheaper. Like at 4, you have like happy hour and you can eat whatever, and it's way cheaper. I would take myself there and I would not be ashamed or embarrassed that I was by myself, treating
Yeah,
myself to dinner, you know, but
yeah.
it took me a long time to get there.
Me too. I was
Yeah.
I had to do that on advice from a sponsor. I
Oh,
think it
really?
was I think it was after I got divorced, and she
Hmm.
was she was like, "You need to date yourself." Take
Yes.
yourself where you wanna go eat, buy yourself what you would want, like, you
Yep.
know, like, live life,
Yeah.
exactly the way you would want. Um,
Totally.
okay, the final sign, and then you're gonna read the fan story because 'cause they're your
Okay.
fans. Um, not on
Okay.
here enough, no offense to me.
You're so
Okay.
silly.
You abandon your needs to keep connection.
Yes. Well, yeah, kind of. I don't know. Did you ever do that?
Huge one for me. Oh my God.
Really?
I
I
would
never
become
did that.
completely invested in their lives,
Right.
their interests, that has been a big one for me, to stay really independent in relationships.
Okay.
Um, and as an adult, I practice that by even now being in a new relationship. I mean, within the
Mhm.
first year or whatever,
Yeah.
um, I try not to like due to it's weird. Like, I wanna spend time together, but I also don't wanna be living in his house. I don't want I have to have some independence, or it becomes all about taking care of him. Does that make
Right.
sense?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I
yeah.
need to come home, and even on nights where sometimes we spend time together, I'm like, "I gotta go home because I have a
Yeah.
dog at home, and I have a show in the morning, and if I'm here, I'm not thinking about the show. I'm not
Yeah.
preparing for my life." So, yes, and in the old days, completely, I wouldn't do anything, none of my self-care, none of my, abandoned interests and hobbies because they didn't
Yeah.
fit into somebody else's lifestyle.
Wow. Yeah. No, see, I was always, I never got that far with it. Like with the romantic connection. It's like, that's where I drew the line. Nah.
That's funny. That's funny. Listen, what's wonderful about, like, what we do and all of our different personalities is you have a
Yeah.
strong personality. You
Oh, thank
really
you.
do. You're like a
Thank you.
strong, powerful woman, and
Thank
I really
you.
appreciate
I
that.
don't think I am because I cry a lot, and which actually is a form of release. Crying, the tears are amazing.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I know I hear that a lot, but it's like, oh, intimidating. I heard powerful men tell me that they were intimidated by me and my intelligence, which to me was like, what?
I'll tell you why. Um, Both my mom and I were raised in pretty old-fashioned, environments, and to this day, I still have trouble standing up to men. To this
Really?
day. Oh,
Oh,
yeah, for
girl,
sure.
I have no problem
I know.
at all. If you need to stand up to a man, call me.
I know. I
Oh,
know, but
yeah.
I think so many of I mean, not today. I think girls are different today.
Yeah.
But I think if you're over a certain age, you still grew up in an environment where it was like, "Keep your mouth shut. Don't cry.
Well,
Keep your feelings to yourself. We're not interested."
not if you were raised by my mom. My mom
Yeah.
never kept her mouth shut. And she always told me never depend on a man and to always, express myself, which, my dad was kind of like emotionally unavailable and kind of like, you can do whatever you want as long as you don't bug me and you let me do my thing, which is
Yeah.
actually great because that's what I grew up with, right? A man like that. And maybe that's why you perceive me as strong and powerful because it's my mom's fault. That's what I'm trying to say.
How about, we thank her for that. I think it's a good
Yes.
thing.
No, yeah, there's a lot of good things, nothing is all bad or all good, right? In life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. All right, segment 3. Should we move on, or did you wanna tell that fan story
Okay.
quickly?
All right. Well, this fan wrote to me and said, I wasn't addicted to him. I was addicted to who I became when he almost chose me. Ah,
That's an interesting thing, and I think sometimes, like, we're sad about a fantasy. Like, we kind of
right.
it was a fantasy, and
Well, you know what? This is what I have to say when we tie it to joy. Joy doesn't live in almost. Joy lives in arrival,
yeah, yeah,
right?
it
Half
does.
basically half-ass stuff is not a joy,
It's true.
commitment to something is joy. Oh, did you just do this?
Not on purpose. I think I did it just by accident, and
Where did you get that from? I
I
don't
have no
even know
idea.
where.
I have no idea.
That's so funny. Oh, we have a comment.
Oh,
Here's Donna says, sooner or later you get used to being on your own and make peace with it. You become the hostess, and if you're kind, you include everyone. So true. So true. You center it on
listen.
you.
Yeah, that's really nice. I really appreciate that. One of the
Yeah,
things, you know, uh, I won't speak to any specifics, but down here in Florida, a lot of times we invite people over. I have
yes,
family down here, and we invite neighbors over, and we try to really create community, not just for ourselves that
yeah,
don't entirely revolve around romantic relationships, but our
right,
friends and our neighbors.
yes,